What up, YouTube Live? The sore. I hope you're not tired of seeing my mofugly face again and again on live stream. So sorry I couldn't make it to do the weekly show Rocking It with Rama Screen Live today. I came home a bit late from my appointment, and also because today recently I filmed the Rama Screen and Tyler Calvert collab video on the Rocky and Creed franchise. So make sure you go watch it. I've just uploaded it on the channel. So right now I'm doing this. Hey Robert, how's it going, man? I'm doing well. Thank you so much. This is my review of tonight's The Walking Dead season 9, episode 7. That's right. That means next week episode will be the mid-season finale. Holy crap, time flies. I mean, it's already Thanksgiving week. One more month, and then that's it. 2018 is over. Woo! Next thing you know, you get old and die, and then come back as a zombie. All right, so let's break it down as always, though, with all my recap review videos of any TV show. It will contain spoilers, so heads up. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! All right. Tonight's The Walking Dead episode is titled Let me get this right. Stradivarius. I had to look it up. I was surprised to find out that the title is Stradivarius because number one, it's very sophisticated. You would think something like The Walking Dead would have simpler title. And Stradivarius is, and I hope I pronounced that correctly, but those of you music fans would know it as, or the meaning of Stradivarius is a string musical instrument or violins that were made by Antonio Stradivari. Anyway, he's Italian, and this is what back in the day. Apparently, it's like when you buy a piano, you would want a brand name like Steinway, right? Or I don't know, Yamaha, whatever. Well, in the world of violin, apparently Stradivarius is something that's as iconic. So anyway, we'll get to why the title is Stradivarius in a minute. But let's start with right now. We see Michonne trying to escort the guys that we saw last week. You know, the new guys. Remember, the time jumps ahead, and so these new guys, among them is actor Dan Fogler, one of my favorite guys. He's also in the new movie Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of the Grindelwald. So Michonne is escorting them to the hilltop because Michonne believes that the hilltop can take care of them much better. And I don't know, maybe I guess Michonne thinks that hey, I feel sorry for these guys, but Alexandria can't take another group or another inhabitant or another resident, if you will. You know, we don't have space or whatever, what have you. So she wants to bring them to the hilltop, and that brings the $1 million question: who's in charge of the hilltop right now? Remember, the time jumps about maybe 5 to 6 years ahead. So, and we all know that the actress who plays Maggie, Lauren Cohen, has a new show on ABC. So we knew from the start of this new season that she was gonna leave the show, but we didn't know if Maggie's gonna get killed off, if Maggie's gonna, ride off into the sunset, what have you. And voila, guess what? Turns out Maggie's just gone. Not dead gone, just gone, up and go. Um, there were moments during this episode tonight when Maggie's name is mentioned, and you would think for a few minutes after that, after the name is mentioned, you would think that for a few minutes that the characters would be talking more about Maggie or what happened to her or how they would deal. But no, after the name is mentioned, just a few seconds, of discussions, and then boom, they either change the subject or something happens that makes them think of something else. So we never actually know exactly the fate of Maggie in this one. So it's gonna remain a mystery, and I think that's the writer's way of having it of having Maggie be some kind of open ended, where who knows, maybe one of these upcoming seasons or one of these episodes, they could have Lauren Cohen make an appearance again, um, a guest appearance, if you will, Maggie returning. But right now, we just don't know. Okay, so what I noticed when Michonne is escorting these guys to the hilltop, uh, again, of course, this video contains spoilers, right? So I love how they rig the wagon. Holy crap, I love it. So it's like it's like a carriage wagon with like horses and all, buggy and horse kind of back in the day, but they use the back of a pickup truck or a part of a vehicle. So and they kind of convertible, make it convertible style, and so the Dan Fogler will be sitting on a comfy kind of car seat, and it's just something that I noticed, and I find it very hilarious. Probably to some of you, it's something stupid and cheesy, and that's fine. Uh, but I think it's nice. It's kind of convenient. It looks cool. Like you just take a part of a car or a truck or a pickup truck, and then connect it to a couple of horses, and that's it. You get yourself a comfy wagon carriage. Um, there's this one girl in that group. I don't know her name, but man, she is a hothead. She's like, "Where's my knives? Where are my knives? Where's my weapon? Where are our uh, uh you know death instruments? Where are our slingshots?" Turns out they even have slingshots, and Michonne is keeping those things kind of in custody, or like keeping those things away from them, because Michonne doesn't trust them yet at this point. And now we see Hilltop. Guess who is in charge of Hilltop? Maggie's gone, right? And of course, Rick is dead. Rick is Alexandria. Boom. It's Jesus. Jesus! Jesus H. Christ. So, uh, so the leadership consists of Jesus and then Tara. Tara is apparently his right hand woman, if you will. And what's her name? I can't remember her name. There's so many names here. Sometimes I'm drawing a blank. In it is the doctor. Is the main doctor in that community. So that's basically the top leadership, and of course you have Aaron, and Aaron is rocking the Iron Man kind of arm. It's pretty awesome. Um, of course he lost his arm in the last time, and now he's got this pretty badass steel arm. That's pretty cool. Kind of, it looks medieval, if you will, medieval. But anyway, it's pretty cool. Um, let's fast forward to, okay. I want to comment on the whole thing with Jesus and Aaron, um, kind of having a playful moment. I don't get that. I don't get that. That whole scene where they're like acting like they're fighting each other. I, it's like a bromance moment, I suppose. So it's like, but why do you have to have a bromance moment there? I'm not against bromance moment, but it seems like it's so off on a tangent. It's like, can we get back to the story, please? Sure, it's a boys will be boys kind of moment, but do we really need this? That's the first thing that I guess crosses my mind. Maybe you can call me a stickler or a conservative for being that way, but I feel like, all right, fine, you want to be playful, but this is very juvenile, guys. And then they find Rosita. By this point, of course, Eugene is gone, is missing. Rosita says that Eugene is stuck in a barn somewhere. Remember, in the last week's episode, they were chased after by a giant herd of walkers. And guess what? I knew it. I knew it. Oh, I knew I was not crazy. I told you guys that I thought it was my hearing that went, all shot to hell. But my God, the zombies were like talking, man. Um, I think the last episode, the zombies that were going after Eugene and Rosita, I think some of them said something along the lines of, "Where are they?" or "Go find them." Something, heavy voice, and I'm like, in the preview for the mid-season finale, the preview for next week's episode, Eugene, but in next week's episode, the guys will find Eugene. The guys will discover where Eugene is in that barn. And Eugene says in that preview, he's like, these are no ordinary walkers. These are no ordinary walkers. That's what Eugene said. And then we hear the voice again. And I'm like, holy shit, what is going on? Can walkers actually talk? Now, I haven't read the comic books. Maybe you guys have read the comic books. Can like say, hey, Rama, yes, by this point in the comic books, the walkers can talk. Well, okay, fine. Case closed, I guess. I didn't know about that. But if you are as surprised about it as me, if this is something new, if this is something that the writers of the show concocted, that's just like whoa. It's the next evolution of walkers, man. Holy shit. All right, so back to the episode. The other subplot or the other arc going on is, of course, um, Carol, Henry, and Daryl. Daryl Dixon. Daryl by this point, he's out. He's like a lone wolf out in the woods, just living off the land, living by himself. He eats like freaking snakes and what have you, man. I don't know. Do you like? Have any of you ever eaten snakes? I haven't, and I don't know if I could. I mean, like if I'm out in a zombie apocalypse, and my only choice of food is snake. I don't know, man. Ugh. I think I'd rather grow, my own crops, and wait like weeks for it to grow or whatever, and starve myself till then before I could push myself to eat a snake. But the way Daryl is just like skin that thing open, like wow, like an expert, like it's nothing to him. It's like oh, the snake will be done in 30 minutes. Yummy, num 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 num. Um, I'm not sure what propelled Daryl to live out there by himself on his own. Obviously, Carol. Oh, Robert says I had fried alligator before at Bass Pro Shops. I heard about alligators. I believe it was actor Richard Dean Anderson. He's the guy who played the original MacGyver. I believe I read somewhere that one of his favorite foods is alligator. So it's not a surprise to me that some people, such as yourself, Robert, eats alligators, or maybe have eaten on one occasion. That's cool. Um, so I'm not sure what compelled Daryl to live out here, but it's been 5 years, right? 5 to 6 years since Rick's death. So has Daryl lived out there in the woods on his own alone ever since Rick's death? Is it Rick's death that kind of made him? Is that the one that made him shut out or push away the world and live like a freaking woodsman? I don't know. Is it grief? Is it grief that drove him to living by himself? Who knows? But obviously, Carol wanted him to rejoin the community. Um, and by the end of this episode, it seems like Daryl's been convinced. There's a couple of zombie moments here. Of course, every episode you'll have a zombie moment, some pulse pounding. Oh my God, the walkers almost bite you in the ass. One of them involves Daryl and Henry. Now, I don't know the whole point of Carol wanting Daryl to be some kind of a mentor to Henry. It seems like in a zombie apocalypse, there's no manual book or a set of advice that works. I mean, most of the time you just go. I mean, you learn as you go, and you survive that way. So what I'm trying to say is that I think I'm on the camp of Daryl, who is reluctant to be, the guy that, oh, we gotta teach Henry because Henry is too much of an idealist. He sees things as black and white. You gotta teach him to be tough. But Daryl's like, no, man, I don't need to do that shit. He gotta figure out himself. And I think I'm on the camp of that. To toughen up, to be less an idealistic, less naive, and stuff like that. Sometimes, just uh, putting yourself out there, man, facing the danger yourself. That's not always good advice, if you will, but Daryl has made it this far. So if Daryl says so, he knows what he's talking about. And that's just my position. Um, But luckily, eventually, Daryl decides to come back home to the hilltop and rejoins the guys. The other zombie moment involves, or it happens in the morning after Dan Fogler and the gang and Michonne, they stayed overnight in this warehouse thing. And then in the morning, the herd of walkers um, attacked them. And that's when Michonne kind of allows them to have their weapons back. Now, I I am not with Michonne on that one. I don't know why. I know she has trust issue, right? I get it. I totally get it. If she doesn't trust them, that's fine. But how do you expect to survive without your weapons? You gotta have your weapons in a zombie apocalypse. So I'm glad that she's at least like, she got to the point where like, okay, fine, I'm not gonna be stubborn anymore. You guys can have your weapons. We gotta fight these together, and that's cool. The moment though in the barn or in the warehouse the night before, that is when the title of this episode comes in. Stradivarius. Ah, crap. I kept messing it up. Stradivarius. So Dan Fogler's character apparently, I think, is a former artist or former music teacher, and what he does is he collects antique musical instruments, um, and he has this affinity for a violin that unfortunately Michonne cuts in half. and and Dan Fogler's character shares a story of how humans eventually outlived the Neanderthals back in the ancient era. And the secret is that humans get together, they build communities, they share things in common through art, through music, and that's how basically the humans survive and the Neanderthals die out. Obviously, I don't completely believe in that. It's a nice notion. If something to think about. It's like, oh, so I guess being sophisticated is how you can, outlast the simpletons of the world. But if that is a story that gets Dan Fogler's character to sleep well at night, fine, he can have it. Um, uh, but I'm on the camp of Michonne. Michonne is like, really, really. So music and art and flute, that's the one that's gonna help us defeat the walkers or outlive them, or that's how. So the walkers will just die out if we play flute together, like kumbaya. I'm on Michonne's camp on that one. But obviously, it speaks to the gullibility or the naiveness of Dan Fogler's character. And I hope it doesn't backfire because I kind of like him. He's a pretty cool dude. I want to see Dan Fogler here to last in The Walking Dead longer than just a few episodes. Um, there's that moment, I think, right nearing or right during the walkers attacking them, that I think one of them or one of the friends of Dan Fogler's gang who got turned into a walker because he died, obviously, and so he became a Walking Dead, and that really brings up sadness, and I think some of them even tear up because they realize it's their old friend. and man, that really gets me right here. Um, and that's something that even Michonne understands. You can tell from her expressions, like, oh yeah, I've been there. I've been there when my friends turned, and I have to kill them because they just turned. I've been there, man. I've been there. It never gets easy. It's never something that you can just like turn off just like that. I totally get it, and you can see even the hothead girl. She's crying and she's bawling and just like, oh man, your heart breaks for them, man. It's pretty sad. Um, so yeah, the episode ends with them trying to find Eugene, and that's not a cliffhanger. If you see the preview for next week's episode, the mid-season finale, they actually find Eugene, and as I said earlier, that's when Eugene tells them like, these are no ordinary walkers that we're dealing with here. Those guys, these zombies can talk. Holy shit! Something must be in the water or something. Um, so the ending is pretty, yes, they're off to find Eugene, but it's pretty uneventful. I was hoping for an ending where, holy crap, like a cliffhanger, like holy shit, oh God, can't wait to turn the page already, to turn the page to the next chapter to see what happens already. It's like, oh, but it's nothing like that. Overall, though, I don't know if you can say that there's one underlying theme connecting the subplot about Daryl, Henry, and Carol with the subplot about um, the violence and the thing with Jesus taking care of Hilltop. I think in a way, it's just this episode is just showing them more of, okay, these are the guys, the new guys, and their way of seeing things and how they view the world. And here's how Jesus manages the hilltop, right? And this is how Carol tries to persuade Daryl to come back. So it's just situational, basically, and overall it's not like in the previous episodes of this season where you can tell that all the characters are just angry, 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 angry. Like episode 2 and 3, everybody's angry, everybody's confrontational. Nothing like that going on here. So it's more like, okay, this is what happens in these cases. These are what they're thinking. These are why they're doing what they do. This is why they need their weapons. This is why Jesus delegates and all that stuff. And now we're gonna try to find Eugene. um, and hopefully in the in the mid-season finale that's happening next week, hopefully not only do they encounter the fact that these walkers are unusual or not like the walkers that they usually deal with, uh, but hopefully we the audiences also get to find out why that is. Because I would hate it if we have to wait till what, February, to find out why these walkers behave this way. Because waiting sucks, man. I hate waiting. I want to know the answer already next week. Give me the answer, AMC. You can't just drop this on our laps and just like expecting us to be patient for the answer. Just like, let us know. Why are these walkers so damn talkative? So anyway, can't wait for next week's episode. This is my review of season 9, episode 7, uh, titled Stradivarius. Share your thoughts in the comment section below, and let me know what you think about it. And as always, subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. And if you want to help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. As always, let's rock this.